or sponsors.
Hello, and welcome. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It is the PowerBizShow.com time, and we are here with our special ladies. You guys know them as Kristen Robinson of KRD Marketing out of New Orleans, and Benicia Ponder. She is a breakthrough strategist out of Atlanta. And of course, myself, I am Ann Charlius of Shiro Rising. We got inspired to start this show because we understand as entrepreneurs, as business owners, you need that time to reboot your goals, reboot your mission, your marketing, your message, and your sales. It is reboot time, and we are here to get it started. So first things first, let me find out who's the first caller. Let's start with Benicia Ponder. Let's shake things up this week. Benicia Ponder, are you on the line?
Hey, Ann. Yes, I am. How are you?
Great, Benicia. How are you doing?
I'm awesome.
Great. So tell the audience a little bit about you, who you are, what you stand for.
So I am Benicia Ponder from Atlanta, GA. As Ann already told you, I am the founder of LuminaryAuthors.com and Illumination Press, where I am helping women of faith to market, to publish, and to write best-selling transformational books that make a powerful impact and an abundant income. My mission really is to illuminate the world with messages of hope and healing and breakthrough. So for entrepreneurs and those of us who are in service-based businesses, purpose-driven businesses where we are meant to make a difference, I help you to unleash your gifts and your talents so that you can attract those clients that you want to attract, so that you can make more money, and so that you can get your message out and for the greatest exposure and profits.
Love that. And how can they reach you?
So the best way to reach me, if you are ready to get your message out, is to text the word authors to 31996. That's authors, AUTHORS. Text that to 31996.
Great. Now that they've learned a little bit about the amazing woman that I have grown to love, let's jump in today's message. Today's message is about mindset. Often entrepreneurs have a goal of being financially successful. They want to reach that 10K month. This month's theme has been just that, helping entrepreneurs reach that 10K month. Today's topic is about mindset. What is the mindset that you see far and large that really either cripples or even helps entrepreneurs reach that goal?
Well, I see the biggest mindset barrier, I should say, for entrepreneurs that I see is that whole small business mindset. Oftentimes, we jump into entrepreneurship as maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe it's something that we're doing to get out of our 9 to 5. Maybe it's our purpose, and we are jumping into it because we're pursuing our purpose and our passion. But ultimately, most entrepreneurs fail because they treat their business like a small business, and they nickel and dime it. They cut corners. They don't invest fully, and it's all because they have that small business mindset. But in order to succeed, in order to be able to reach the next level and to really have the greatest impact and income in your business, you really have to have a big business mindset, which means you have to treat your business as a business and not like an expensive hobby where you're doing what you love to do and you love it, but you're not seeing any cash flow on a consistent basis. You're not seeing any clients coming in on a consistent basis. You are all over the place. There's no structure, no format. to your business, and it's all because you're doing what you love and you're treating it like a small business or a hobby instead of as a real business.
Can I echo that sentiment? That is so true. Get off your seat, stand up, rise up. You cannot say that you want to put up a business that produces 10K months and you want to operate like you're making $500 a month. You cannot nickel and dime it. I love that you said that. But for some people, let's be real, Benicia, that's kind of that's a huge leap of faith for them. What recommendation would you give them to really help them be able to reset that mindset?
Well, this is something that I had to personally do in my business very recently, in fact, for my business, because I definitely wanted to up level. I reached a certain level of success, and it was time to go to the next level. And I had to look at, okay, what is in my business right now that I need to shift, to change. And one of the things, I posted this on social media last week, but I love this this quote. It says, if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice, which means that if you don't sacrifice your time and your money and your energy and your effort to really make your business the way that it should be, the way that it could be, then your business is going to be what is sacrificed. So in the beginning, maybe you are bootstrapping it. Maybe you are the one who is putting in the sweat equity, and you are actually putting in more time into your business. That's fine. But you have to realize that you must invest either sweat equity or you're going to have to invest some cold, hard cash into your business in order for it to be successful.
Exactly. I tell people this all the time. You can't have it both ways. You cannot say, you know what, Anne, I don't have the time to invest in services like consultants and coaches and marketing people and salespeople. But at the same time, say, I don't have the money. Something has to give. Either you're going to put in that sweat equity and put in the time, or you're going to have to pay someone else to put in the sweat equity. And what you said is definitely on point. The reality is the major companies do. The major companies have people in marketing, people in sales, people in PR. And we're not saying that you need to go and get 10 people for your startup company, but you need to start thinking about how you're going to manage either wearing those hats all by yourself or getting a team that's going to support you and assist you.
And that was one of the things I had to realize, Anne, was that I had to be both the CEO and I had to be the employees. And so I had to hire myself as the graphic designer in the beginning. I had to hire myself as the PR person, and I had to hire myself as the consultant. I was the CEO, yes, with a big vision, but I also had to be the employees until I got to the point where I could farm that out and I could actually hire people to do that work for me. So you're going to have to be both the CEO and the employee, especially in the beginning. If you are doing this with limited dollars, you're going to have to do both. And what you're going to realize is that as you grow, you're going to realize, okay, I definitely need a team. I cannot do this by myself. I am going to be willing to pay someone to do this so that I can serve at a higher level with my services and develop products and those kind of things.
You know, that is so true. And with you, I know that you have an amazing organization, Luminary Authors. Can you tell us how a person that is actually writing a book, an entrepreneur is writing the book, how that would tie in with a mindset for a successful 10K month?
Well, you first have to realize, and I treat my authors just like they are business owners, because that's exactly what you are. The authors that we work with Luminary Authors and Illumination Press, are those who want to make both an impact and an income with their message. So whether you're telling your life story or you're sharing your expertise and experiences based on the education and specialties that you've developed, it's the same thing. You are sharing your message, not just to tell your story, not just to put a book on a shelf, but you are sharing your message in order to impact lives and in order for you to make an income. And so the mindset has to be that you are starting with that in mind. You're starting with the mindset that I am going to impact lives, and the more income that I make, the more impact that I can have. And so we go through the whole business planning process and the whole idea of establishing what your goals are, who your market is, what your income desires are, all those things first. How will you create products and programs? All of those things first before we even start writing, so that when you start writing, you're writing from a place of confidence and clarity that brings in the cash flow.
Absolutely. And, far too often, I'm an author myself. Far too often, I think as entrepreneurs, if you go through the process of writing your book, you will uncover your mindset. You will uncover both good things about you and things you need to improve and work on. So it is really a work of self-reflection, but also definitely, I agree with you, it is a business. I can say it with no qualms about it, that being an author opens doors for you to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you so much. I know you have a way for our audience to easily connect with you. So before we go on to Kristen, can you tell them how they can directly connect with you via text messaging?
Absolutely. So if you are listening to us right now and you are ready to write your best-selling transformational book, you want to make a powerful impact and abundant income with your message, then text the word author, AUTHOR, text author to 31996, and you'll have a link directly to my calendar. We'll schedule a time for a free discovery call, and I will help you to set out your plan to get your book done. And if you do it really quickly, like this week, we can set your path to get your book done before the end of the year, right in time for that prime holiday spending. So text the word author to 31996.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Benicia. Say hello to everyone in Atlanta. And now we're going to go on over to Kristen Robinson, our social media head coach. But before we get her on the line, I want for everyone to take this moment to share this message out. Share this to your audiences on Periscope, on Facebook, on Twitter. Share this message out, because you never know who just needed this message right on time. I tell my Periscope audiences all the time, sharing is caring. So take this moment and share. Share it on your personal page, share it on your business page, share it to any groups that you may be part of on Facebook. Now let's go to our guest in New Orleans. So we're going from Atlanta to New Orleans. Hello, Kristen. Are you there?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, girl. Hey. How are you today?
Apparently I have a barking puppy.
So.
Hi, barking puppy. Well, he's always a good boy. Now, listen, please, before you get started, I know you're ready to jump on in and answer this question. But for those who have not met you yet, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Kristen Robinson, your social media head coach and a puppy mommy, and I help online entrepreneurs generate more leads in their business using social media, Facebook ads, and live streaming.
Wonderful. And where can they reach you?
Actually, you can actually grab my free Facebook ads guide. So how about that? Instead of trying to reach me, I give you a free gift. So you can grab my free Facebook ads guide at free gift from Kristen, KRISTEN.com.
And listen, you guys, she's a little humble. So I'm going to be her publicist, her hype person. This woman is amazing. Not only is she a member of the famous Perry Girls, she is also now a bronze influencer on Periscope. Can we get hey celebration dance? Congratulations. And she has worked with companies like Disney. Can we say Disney? And of course, she is a military spouse. And so thank you so much for sacrificing your time. You move every 2 years in service to this country. So I had to give you a little hype dance there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, Kristen, now it's your time to give your take on this question. What is a mindset hurdle, or maybe it's not a hurdle, maybe it's an obstacle or a tool, mindset tool that someone can use to get to their 10K month?
I think the biggest thing, because I've experienced this, I went from 5K months to 10K months. And I would say the hardest thing is the things that got you there are not the things that will help keep you there, if that makes sense.
Whoa, okay, listen, rewind, hit play. I need you to say that again.
The things that got you there will not necessarily be the things that keep you there.
So explain that a little bit further.
Yeah, so like I said, I went from 5K months to 10K months, and I realized that the things that got us there as a company were not the same things that were going to help maintain or even do it better. So, for example, team, right? Like we've been talking about that. Who's on your team? Who helps you? And the same virtual assistant that helped get me there was definitely not the same virtual assistant that was going to help me stay there. There was a little bit up-leveling I had to do with the team. I realized that if I was going to stay there, I had to realize my strength, because I was doing everything. Well, mostly I had a virtual assistant, right? But I couldn't be generating the leads and doing the sales calls. Like, yeah, we did it, but we did it with me doing the sales calls. So when I had a chance to hire a sales assistant last year, jumped on it and hired a sales assistant. So now she handles all of the client calls and speaks with clients on how to work with me, and I just generate the leads because that's my strength, right? I help online entrepreneurs the same thing. So the thing about it is those same things that help you get there doesn't mean that it was a fluke and it'll never happen again. It's just if you want to repeat, you got to evolve and up level so you can keep what you have, but then also to get even further, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. That totally makes sense. Now, have you been able to give this advice to one of your clients? And if so, how did they receive it?
Sometimes the truth hurts. It stings.
Yes, that's so true. Sometimes the truth does hurt, but it needs to be said. Absolutely. And so how do you handle dealing with an individual who's not receptive to such great constructive feedback?
Well, it's funny because I have an accountability partner who's a $2.5 million, 7-figure woman who's amazing. She runs a company called Happy Black Woman, Rosetta Thurman, and we mastermind every Monday morning. And we're going through this right now where it's funny. We call it tough love. That's what we call it. And it's the same way we treat our clients, but I love how we practice on each other first before we practice on our clients, right? So we call it tough love, where it's like, okay, we got to break the news to you, but then we got to love you and build you back up and send you out there to the world so that you can start that evolution. But unfortunately, we got to break you down. we got to tell you the message. You're going to get angry, but then we build you back up with love and send you off again. So that's really what it takes. But you also have to point out, it's like this exercise that I like to do with my clients. So I have a finger on the end of my nose, right? And if you put your finger on your nose and you look at your finger, you can't really see. You become kind of cross-eyed. And you're looking at me, you can clearly see that there's a finger on my nose, and I can see there's a finger on your nose. And so sometimes it takes the other person to point out the obvious. Hey, you got a finger on your nose, right?
Great point.
But you can't see it, but somebody else can see it. And so when you tell your clients this kind of stuff like, hey, I know you had that 5K month and I know we just got to 10K, but here are the things you need to do to stay there and maybe have a 15K month or a 20K month. You have to kind of point out the obvious. I know it sounds weird, but you do. You have to be like,
point
hey,
it out.
That virtual assistant you hired? Exactly. You know, she only does the emails. Does she do customer support too? You know, or how about that tech person you hired? They do only your website. Do you have one that's going to do the email marketing and the website? Like, you have to kind of point out the obvious. And then also, how much are you paying for these people, right? Because if you have a 10K month, but it costs you like $7,500 to keep them, that's not really a lot of money you're keeping. So how much? So you have to really state the obvious, even though these are things that us as entrepreneurs, we know in our own business. Sometimes you got to point out, hey, you got a finger on your nose and state the obvious, you know, that, hey, even though you have all these great things and you had that 10K month, it's not really going to help you keep that 10K month.
Thank you so much. And I think, you know, I told you you're that sage whisperer. You always give great advice. And I am very familiar with Happy Black Woman. And that's amazing that you have an accountability partner. I think that is so important. Oftentimes, I myself act as an accountability partner to my clients because you need someone that's going to give you that tough love. They're going to give you the tough 1, 2, 3 punch, but they're going to also give you that love. And so thank you so much for sharing your message. Now, for those who are listening, how can they connect with you? If you can just remind them one more time.
So you can easily just grab my free Facebook ads guide. That's probably the best way to connect with me, because once you grab my free Facebook ads guide, you get to enter my community, my private community, and where I can connect with you further, of course, on social media, obviously, connect with you further and actually help you out in our free Facebook community. So you can just go to free gift from Kristen, KRISTN.com.
Okay, wonderful, Kristen. Now, you're going to do this like we normally do. If you can stay online so that I can answer my question. Is that okay?
Of course.
So the question is about mindset. And what I think is one of the number one, at least in the top 3 things that an entrepreneur, and in fact, any person who wants to be successful in life must do, is that they must stay in the seat of their power. Stay in the seat of your power. Far too often, and this almost is a piggyback, but not completely, of what Benicia talked about. The reality is no one is good at everything. Not Anthony Robbins, not Oprah Winfrey, not Bill Gates. No one is good at everything. And understanding and learning what you're excellent at, and at the same time, what you're only satisfactory or even unsatisfactory at as an entrepreneur. And then once you sat down and it really made a clear list of what those things are, identify what you're great at. That is your power. Then find other people, which echoes your sentiment. Find other people that are good at what you're weak at. That is the magical formula, I think. When you look at all the people, the great successes, they all understood that. In fact, I remember Bill Gates saying this. Bill Gates said, I hire smart people. I want to hire people that are smarter than me. I find entrepreneurs that are afraid to hire people that are smarter than them, that may know more on a topic than them. Check your ego at the door. If you want to be successful as an entrepreneur, you have to check your ego at the door. What are your thoughts on that?
Not only smart people, but passionate people, because you definitely want someone who's smarter at that, but you also want someone who loves to do it. So that helps a lot with direction, because they're going to be smarter, but they're going to have really great ideas because they're passionate.
I love that. Absolutely. Passion is also tied with enthusiasm. And I tell people all the time, if you want to come into the room and be like a black hole to my business and my life, bye, boo, bye. You have to get out. Exit stage left, just like Beyonce said, to the left, to the left, to the left. Yes, you need to exit stage left. You're absolutely right. Because if you don't have passion, if you don't have enthusiasm, it is very hard for you to work with a company that is looking to grow. I mean, you can be a person that doesn't have passion and work for Walmart or Target or Microsoft, because guess what? They're already established. Okay, they have a system. But if you are with an organization that is a startup, that is in the first stage or second stage of business, and maybe even more than that, you need to have enthusiasm, you need to have energy. And, you know, for me, I think one of the common threads, Kristen, that we find with businesses who were extremely successful and then they go thump. They were extremely successful and then they go thump, is that the employees, staff members lose passion, lose enthusiasm. They do not stay ahead of the curve. And new upstart companies are then able to do the takeover, right? That's what happened with companies like Blockbuster. Do you remember where Blockbuster was the only game in town? But guess what?
I was thinking about the warehouse. You remember the warehouse?
Yeah, the warehouse, exactly. But guess what? They allowed a startup organization that had more passion, more enthusiasm to come in and take over. So if you... Netflix, yeah, exactly, Netflix. That is the power of Amazon. That is the power of Facebook. When something new happens, they step in and they want to be ahead of the curve, not behind the curve. They don't want to be reading the news. They want to be in the newspaper. And that leads to my final thing that is a conjunction of this, or final thought on the matter is, people don't pay for you to be ordinary. If you're an entrepreneur and you're doing tasks that you know that you are only ordinary at, no one is going to pay you to do that. People pull out their credit cards. They make payments on PayPal for extraordinary, not ordinary. So get out of the business of being ordinary. Get out of the business of being ordinary. So that is our show for tonight. It flies by. I am Ann Charlius of Shiro Rising. My clients call me the mogul maker, the wealth creator, and the queen of cash flow. I am a three-time award-winning business leader and strategist. If you are interested in connecting to me, you can go to shirorising.org. That's shirorising.org. Or you can text the word Shiro. That's SHERO to the number 77948. That is Shiro to the number 77948. Bye, Kristen. See you next week.
Bye.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily